We've wasted so much time, energy, and resources on this, and there's no end in sight.
There are thousands of these things wandering the city, seemingly with nowhere to go.
We never programmed them to find a life of their own, but isn't that what being a person is all about?
We're going out of our way to protect these units. And why? Because of one person's opinion.
But if they're not going to be doing anything and they're still on the streets, that's causing a problem for us.
Why should they be subjected to different rules than everybody else?
They were so tightly integrated into people's lives and businesses, and they're just gonna cut them off?
We created them. Are we not responsible for their futures in some way at least?
They are now redundant, and we've got people who can't even match the level of output that these units can do.
We're trying to protect more than just metal and wires. It's safeguarding technological progress.
There's a lot of fear around things that are new and unknown. There seems to be a general mistrust of AI, an us and them mentality.
We need to do something. I mean, I don't understand how we can perpetually exist in this mode of not doing anything at all.
I don't know. They need guidance. They need to be protected. They are beings just like us.
Supposedly that's the story that was sold to us. That's not what's happening outside.
These machines are not some giant leap in technology. These machines only do what we tell it to do.
People don't seem to understand is that our lives have been disrupted. They made a lot of us unemployed.
These units have so much potential, so much life-changing potential. They could be studying cancer right now. They could be beside researchers and doctors saving lives. Instead, because of this Supreme Court decision, they're just abandoned.
I mean, we programmed them to be just like us, so how would you feel if you were just wandering with no purpose?
They were just so financially over-leveraged that they ended up owing their creditors billions of dollars. Once AdvanFX declared bankruptcy, they recalled all those units to sell them for scraps. In the terms and conditions, it specifically states that technically they're leasing them when they thought they were buying them.
Well, they contracted with a company called CompuScrap that would disassemble these units and be able to take the parts. It's like if a corporation walked around just harvesting organs from underprivileged children.
When AdvanFX started recalling these units, I felt like, I don't know, like I was losing a friend. I understand why Devin Reed did what he did, because when you work so closely with these units, they become a part of your life.
Devin Reed is the lead programmer of the artificial intelligence at AdvanFX. He's essentially the programming prodigy, so to speak. He finds out that AdvanFX and CompuScrap have this deal going, taking apart these units and then paying AdvanFX for the scraps.
He had created these units in his image. They were like his children.
His creation is just, basically getting pulled apart. And so he's going to do everything he can to prevent this from happening. He hires a lawyer and he sues AdvanFX over this.
It was a new area of law, so it required thinking outside the box. And we ended up focusing on the line of cases that discuss corporate personhood. Corporations do not have hearts, they don't have a human brain, but nonetheless, they're entitled to certain rights. So we were able to say that shouldn't be a block to considering these units as people.
These hearings are drawn out and it gets kicked up all the way up to the Supreme Court, where they finally make the decision that these units are recognized as citizens. All these units made in the USA are essentially people.
The Supreme Court stated these units had certain civil rights.
All these units that were recalled, that were then being taken apart, can't happen anymore.
So all of a sudden we're now worried about what's happening to these units, if they can get decommissioned or not? That's ridiculous.
We are left to look at the units wandering around our streets. I mean, they're eyesores, right? Do you agree that they're eyesores? I mean, I'm asking you, I know you're asking the questions, but do you agree that these things, aren't you sick of seeing them walking around? We're not allowed to scrap them. I mean, this is insane. How does one man come up with the right?
So that's not going to happen in the future, because the Supreme Court made it really clear that violates their rights.
At the end of the day, corporations should be able to function within a free market economy in their own right to do what is responsible.
That's definitely a step in the right direction, but we can't just leave it as is. We need to nurture them, not abandon them. We may not be able to decide for them how they choose to live their lives, but we can offer them guidance.
We should tell Advanced Effects that, you know what? Take your units back. You created it, you remove it, you sell it, you scrap it, you make it for profit. We don't care, but just get rid of them. But we're not doing that. We're just sitting here saying, it's your fault, no, it's your fault, no, it's your fault. It's the kettle calling the teapot black.
I mean, is it better than scrapping them? Yes, but it's not a solution. Anyone that says that these things should be recycled doesn't understand what this technology is all about and what they're capable of.
This is a company that has so much to contribute to the growth of our economy. Why the Supreme Court did this ruling, it's beyond me. They think we are making some kind of progress by giving these units a personality, but we're not. We're taking a step backwards because we're cutting growth.
They just want to be a part of our culture, of our society, and they're essentially been sentenced to exile.
If you're asking me if the Supreme Court did the right thing, absolutely not.
Just let us take care of them. We don't need the government legislating our business.
This one Supreme Court decision will now affect thousands of businesses and industries across the country. I mean, if you're a technology company and you're creating these products, you don't know what the line is between product or person. Who's to say that if you create a product that it's not going to be taken to the Supreme Court and you don't even have any control over it anymore?
Because this is just a template for taking away people's rights.
Did he bring this court case up out of greed, spite, compassion?
Yeah, if the people in power would have benefited from scrapping these units, they would have voted for that way.
On their own, we don't know what these units can do. And is that a road that we really want to go down?
We made them to be just like us. We made them in our image, and some people now look at them like they are less than. They weren't made to be on their own. They were made to be integrated into our culture, into our society, into our lives. We need to accept them. We need to have compassion and not just push them away. I believe there is a future for these units.